Hey everybody, thanks for spending some time with me in Bike Week Nation. Hope you're having a great holiday season. I know folks are kind of getting stir crazy. My first segment's going to be a Christmas segment. I don't know, if you're going by the Chop Shop in Seabrook, it's a great place to stop by any time of year, but especially this time of year because they got a lot of space. They have an outdoor patio area, so things are still rocking. They have bands there, and if you know, the Chop Shop every year is really involved in raising money for Toys for Tots around the holiday season. And normally they have a big Christmas parade and they, do a lot of fundraising for Toys for Tots. Now, obviously, a lot of those activities have been curtailed this year because of the pandemic. So there's no parade or anything like that. But the Chop Shop is still raising money for Toys for Tots. If you go there and have one of their awesome holiday cocktails, $1 from your cocktail will go to Toys for Tots. And if you're in the area, why don't you just drop an unwrapped toy by there, and the folks at the Chop Shop will make sure that it gets to the right people at Toys for Tots. So again, this is a video from a couple years ago. So let's go to the Chop Shop Toys for Tots Holiday Parade.
I got some good love and I got some more store. When I get to throwing on, I got to come back and more. Boys and things, they come by because that ain't nothing but 10 cents. Hey, little thing, let me light your candy, cause mama, I'm sure hard to handle when I get so.
Toys for Tots event last night, oh my God. We had about 300 people here, everybody brought toys. Donations, we made about $3,000 just last night alone for Toys for Tots. Get it all set up for you.
Hey, all right.
Tell me a little bit about Toys for Tots.
Toys for Tots has been a campaign running since 1948, which the Reserves, the Marine Corps Reserve, has participated in. And essentially, ensuring that all children have toys. Also helping parents in need. Sometimes it's hard and they're proud, but the relief that this program gives to those families is just astounding. And if it's one thing that I've seen in my 4 years of participating in the program, is how Americans, regardless of color, creed, political belief, come together and pick one another up during this time. So it's always great to see that type of stuff.
Thank you for doing this. Semper Fi,
no worries.
sir.
Hey, Semper Fi. You have a great day.
And you all have a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and safe New Year's. Ho, 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 ho.
Oh man, Billy is a great good He does a lot of fundraising, does a lot of work for the community. Gotta hand it to Billy and everyone at the Chop Shop. They're great people, and they do a lot of good work for the community, including for Toys for Tots. Just wanted to thank my buddy TJ. He told me about this virtual tour sessions that are going on at the Harley-Davidson Museum. A lot of folks who watch the show know that last year at about this time, I went out to Milwaukee and checked out the Harley-Davidson Museum. It's a great museum, so I really urge you to go out there and check it out if you get a chance. It's not just a good motorcycle museum. It's really, illustrates the story of American manufacturing. So it's a great museum to check out. Unfortunately, again, right now the museum is closed because of COVID, and so they aren't doing any actual tours, but in December they did a series of virtual tours, and they're going to redo those virtual tours in January. And since I went to the museum last year and I have footage of most of the exhibits that they're going to be showing, I'm going to do previews each week of these virtual tours. So the virtual tours, they cost $6, okay? They last about an hour, and they take place every Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in January. So we'll go through the order of them. The first one is going to be on January 7th, and it's going to talk about the beginnings of Harley-Davidson, Serial 1, the sort of early history, a lot of really interesting footage. The Harley-Davidson Museum has a lot of really interesting stuff from the early days of Harley-Davidson, so you'll be able to check that out. on Thursday, January 7th. And then on the 14th, a week later, they're going to do a segment on the military, connection to Harley-Davidson called Riding with Uncle Sam. So that's going to be really interesting as well. You're going to have to check that out. And on the 21st, that's Thursday the 21st at 8 o'clock, they're going to do a segment on board track racing, which is really, really interesting. I actually sat in on the virtual tour they did on board track racing last Thursday, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And then on the 28th of January, they're going to do a segment on custom culture and the impact Harley-Davidson has had on sort of the, American culture and the movie industry and things along those lines. So, they're virtual tours, and it's a tour guide from Harley-Davidson, and again, it's $6, and it lasts about an hour, and they show you, promotional materials from the era, things that are very, very interesting. So it's kind of just a nice little thing to do on a Thursday evening, and it's a nice way to support the Harley-Davidson Museum while it's closed. So again, each week I'll be doing a preview of each segment and with some of the footage that I shot at the museum. Last week I watched their segment on board track racing, and there's an exhibit at the Harley-Davidson Museum that sort of demonstrates the board track racing era and has a number of antique motorcycles, racers from the era. And if you don't know anything about board track racing, in the early era of motorcycle racing, it was really a dangerous form of motorcycle racing, and it was very, very popular, in the early teens all the way through the 20s and 30s. Some of the tracks were really, really long. They could be miles long. And they'd have 30, 40, 50,000 people at these board track racing events. And it was really one of the most popular forms of motorcycle racing or racing in its time. But it was very, very dangerous for a number of reasons. These motorcycles did not have brakes, number one. Number two, the way the engines worked, the people riding the engines were forced to sort of pump the engines while they were racing, and there would often be grease that was thrown all over these board tracks, so the board tracks were very, very, very slippery. And these guys were going 100 miles an hour on these things. So it's a slippery wooden track. The other thing is these tracks deteriorated very, very quickly. Most of them only had a lifetime of about 3 years at most, and they were very expensive to maintain, so they weren't well maintained. So if you wiped out, you were going to take some really, really bad splinters in addition to all the damage that you were going to take from just, wiping out at 100 miles an hour. And they didn't have much protective gear back then, so it was really, really dangerous. Initially, Harley-Davidson was not that interested in board track racing, but eventually they fielded a team called the Wrecking Crew, and the mascot for the Wrecking Crew was a pig. And a lot of people think that's where the term hog for Harley-Davidson came from, was the mascot from the Wrecking Crew. When they would win a race, they would ride around the board track with the pig on their tank. So, who knows? I've never really been able to verify that, historically that's where the term hog came from, but that's sort of the lore. But again, board track racing was really, really interesting, and something that you'll learn more about during one of the virtual tours at Harley-Davidson. Now we're going to go to our regular Cooking with Swampy segment. It's really a new thing I'm doing. Swampy's just a great cook, and he's a really interesting guy, and so I decided to do a biker cooking segment. So let's go to this week's biker cooking segment, Cooking with Swampy. So what's your philosophy of cooking?
Eating.
So what do we got going on here?
Well, I don't know. We gotta catch up. Bacon cheeseburgers, maybe? Or... So I put the glass cover over the pan for the burgers. I think that's what we're cooking here. Yep, that's the bacon.
Yeah, that's the bacon.
Oh yeah. The cover...
Because I make cheeseburgers and bacon scallops at the same time?
No, bacon cheeseburgers, dude. This is another crap. See? I have frozen hamburger patties and I put this over the frying pan. It keeps the moisture and all that into the burger. You see what I mean?
And how big are your burgers?
How big you want it?
No, but you need like quarter pound, or they make big burgers?
Yeah, quarter pound at least.
How much bacon's going on in there?
That's a whole, whatever's in a pack. Look at it.
Package of bacon, yeah.
Package of bacon.
You having some beer with your bacon
No,
cheeseburgers?
Actually, it's a root beer.
Root beer.
In a little can, like I got a thing on the can.
You don't drink while you cook, like
Off and on. Must be recess.
That's worth it.
Thank you very much, because this burger's still cooking.
Alright, so how long do the burgers cook for? You just cook them till you think they're good?
Well, it looks like they're pretty good now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. See that? The cheese, the bacon. No one's around, and I'm fucking slopping it down as quick as I can. See? That's what I'm saying. I eat it over the sink because the juices are coming out. It's like, fuck that. Whoops, spilled a little bit.
Let me make a few more
Yeah.
while you're eating the first one.
Yep. See, a little can of root beer.
So is this like a Sunday night or Saturday night? You cook every night?
I cook every night, every day. I just make pancakes and some of the fried up ham.
So you're eating one while you're making more.
Right. There's 3 or 4 in that pan, but there's only 2 or 3 right now. See that? Boy, that is good too. Don't you wish you had that fucker?
So bacon cheeseburgers, that's one of your specialty recipes?
Yeah, that and meatballs. See what them are? Yeah, cookies, yeah. The lemon Oreo cookies.
Oh.
You ever had that?
Oh.
Huh?
All right, it's always 3, 2, 1. It's always fun hanging out with Swampy. He's a great guy, great cook, great guy, a lot of fun to hang out with. So look forward to doing more Cooking with Swampy segments every week coming up this winter. And our last segment, we're going to do a Laconia Rewind segment. We're going to combine our music segment with a little look back at some footage from the Broken Spoke Saloon. The Broken Spoke Saloon has changed hands. The Turners, which have been running the bar for about 4.5, 5 years now, they have purchased the bar and they're in the process of reopening it. I believe they've just gotten their health license and getting the red tape going. So the former location where the Broken Spoke is now going to be the High Octane Saloon. So look forward to a little more information about the High Octane Saloon. But let's go out of tonight's show with a little footage from the Broken Spoke from this summer. See everyone later. Hope you have a great holiday.
We're the Blues Tonight Band. It's great to be back to work after a few months off. I want to thank everybody here up at Broken Spoke for having us back. Hope you all have a good time. When I was a young boy, I used to slip away the Astros, hear the old bluesmen play. There was Big Joe and Lyman. Keep on walking to and I'd sit there and dream of doing what they do. Since the ash grove burned down, and I'm on these highways traveling town to town. I'm trying to make a living, trying to pay the rent, trying to figure out where my life went. I want to go back to the ash grove. That's where I come from. I want to go back to the ash grove. That's where it belongs. You don't have to go searching, pretend to put on airs, cause the blues is gonna find you sometime somewhere. My mother and father are gone, lots of my good friends are gone, and all the old blues men have all passed on. And I'm on these highways traveling town to town, setting up my gear and I'm taking it down. Turn up my guitar, standing on the stage, trying to raise the ghost right up out of the grave. I want to go back to the ash grove.
So on Motorcycle Week has been canceled to the August date, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be a pretty busy spot for Bike Week. So we'll be ready for you. If you're showing up, we're here. It should be a good time. We're going to have music. We'll have plenty of cold beer on ice here. Merchandise tent's going to be set up. Should be a great time. Whether you're here for a day or here for a week, come on down. Love to have you.